Hi, my name's Sam, my pronouns are they, them, and welcome to my office. I'm starting out the vlog for kind of working my way through my spooky season reads. I've already gone through and made a video laying out what my spooky season TBR is, but I'm hoping to try and make a dent in that. So I'm hoping to get through Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Khaw, White is for Witching by Helen Oyeyemi, and Catherine House by Elisabeth Thomas. And I've chosen those ones because those are the three that I have out from the library right now, so those have a defined deadline, and I'm pretty excited for it. So Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Khaw seems like it's going to be a classic haunted house kind of feel, while White is for Witching by Helen Oyeyemi kind of seems like it's going to be more of a challenge to get through, honestly. Like I'm really going to have to work through it to kind of understand what is going on with this haunted house situation. And then Catherine House is kind of like one of my wild cards where it's like I'm not sure if I'm going to like it. I can't understand if it's going to be more like gothic house, like weird paranormal supernatural stuff is going on, or if it's going to be more of like a cliquey mean girl kind of thing. I'm not really sure either way, but those are the goals for now. I'm hoping to get through 3 out of 9 and then keep going from there. Hi. So I am out on my deck and I am recording this on my phone because I'm in a hammock and getting in and out of this thing is very difficult. But I am on chapter 4 of Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Khaw. Honestly, I don't really understand the relationships between these people. Like, so we're introduced to the main group of people, or what I'm assuming is the main group, and I understand the horror movie dynamics of them. Like, the stereotypes are there. You've got your goth, you've got your weird one, you've got, like, your kind of, like, preppy vibe one, and the good boy, and like, the snarky, smart, like, kind of nerdy one. Like, you've got all those characters in play, and this definitely is currently reading like a stereotypical horror movie, like a paranormal one, but I don't understand why we are where we are. Like, I'm about halfway through this book, and I don't understand, like, what has brought these people together. Like, I know that they're there for a wedding, but I don't understand why they all kind of hate each other and are there. So I think it's weird. I don't know if I like it or not. So far, it's not that I dislike it. I just don't have a reason to actually like it yet. But yeah, I'm just gonna sit out here and continue to read until it's time for dinner. I will keep everyone updated as I hopefully finish this tonight. So, update. I haven't done an update in a little while. Right now, it's Sunday. I've decided to make this like a 2-week reading vlog because something was going wrong this week in the universe. So I took the L, and we're just kind of going with it. So, last weekend, I finished Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Khaw. Ultimately, I think I'm going to give this a 2-star. So, let me give you kind of an idea of what this is about. So, this is about a group of friends who go to an abandoned, like, haunted mansion in Japan for these two fiancés to elope. Things start to go wrong. So, ultimately, it's been the wife's dream for the majority of her life to get married in a haunted house. So this is kind of fulfilling her dream, but she's pretty stupid with it. and she makes some really poor choices, and some spooky, scary, haunted house stuff happens. So the whole thing about the ghost in this mansion is that it was this woman who was getting married, and her husband was like on his way to the house to marry her, and he died on the way. So she died within the house, was like buried alive in the house, so she could eternally wait for him to return to her. And she required a sacrifice like every year of one girl buried alive in the walls of the house to be with her while she waits for her husband. And this goes on for, what, I think like 1,000 years or something like that. I don't remember. But that's the whole lore behind the house. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go get married in the spooky haunted house where this entire, like, the entire reason that it's spooky and haunted is because of this failed wedding. But they're like, let's just do it anyway. So this group of, I think it's like 5 or 6 are there, and some stereotypical scary movie stuff happens. Like, the wife ends up making some poor choices that the husband is like, no, this is hers, this is her day, like, we're just going with it, we're going with her and what she wants to do. And oh boy, do stupid things happen afterwards. Like, it's literally like just a stereotypical haunted house story, which was not my problem with this at all. Honestly, my problem with this was the relationships between the characters. So you have the husband and the wife. I think it's Talia and Faze. And then you have, let's see, golden hair, golden retriever boy, Philip. Philip is the rich white man who's kind of funding this entire thing as like a wedding present to them. He is friends with Faze, but also seems to be fairly close with Talia, and there was some speculation about Philip and Talia previously having a relationship. I believe that it was confirmed that they had previously had a relationship before her relationship with Faze. This is still slightly unclear to me. Then you have Faze's, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but it's Faiz. So that's how I think that I would say it. And then you have his childhood best friend, Kat. She has a really terrible relationship with Talia. Like, her and Talia are really anti each other, but Kat is at the wedding as like basically as like a favor to Faze, because he wants his best friend there. But honestly, the fact that Kat is there is kind of like ruining the moment for Talia. So that's just a whole problem area. And then you also have Lynn, who comes like halfway into the story. Now, Lynn's presence was weird. So Lynn, as far as I understand, was friends with Faze. So Lynn is a guy who was already previously married, and Faze was one of his groomsmen in the wedding. But Lynn is adamant that he has only come to this elopement for Kat. So you have come to this elopement for the not bride, for Faze's childhood best friend that the bride despises. Why even go? Why even go? And none of these things end up making sense at the end of this. Like, the realities of why these people would go, the only one who makes sense is Philip. I don't understand why Kat is there. I don't understand why Lynn is there. Like, this is your special day. This is a big elopement. You guys are flying from America to Japan to go to this fancy schmancy haunted mansion, like this historic haunted mansion. And I understand why Philip is there, because he's kind of the funder of all of this, and he's just a golden retriever. He's just vibing. But why are you going to have these 2 other people there who basically, like, you know, are gonna ruin the day for you? Even if all of the other haunted house stuff didn't end up happening, like, their presence would kind of ruin the day for the bride. Why would you even want them there? So this is getting a 2-star because all I could focus on was, why are these people with you to get during your elopement? Like, this makes no sense. Like, it didn't make sense. The relationships between these people and why they were there did not make sense, and I could not focus on the spooky elements or the writing or even the atmosphere in any capacity. And, this creepy lady on the front, she didn't even scare me because I was just sitting here like, why are you even here? Like, why are these people even here? So, 2 stars for that alone. Rant. Done. And I am 120 pages into White is for Witching by Helen Oyeyemi. So far, what I understand of this is, so they're in this house in Dover, England, and it's a family home. The great-grandmother had lived there, the grandmother had lived there, the mom, and then the daughter all lived there. And it seems like they all in their timelines had an eating disorder called pica, which is where they eat things that aren't food. Like, can't help themselves but eat things that aren't food. I don't know if this is a real disorder. So Miranda is the current daughter in the house, and her mother, Lily, dies. And so far we're in kind of like this downward spiral moment of Miranda goes to the hospital to deal with her eating disorder, and she comes back afterwards, and things are honestly kind of worse, and forces within this family home are starting to become like more present to her. So it's basically like we're starting to get to the point where this house is starting to show how anti-strangers it is, which is very ironic because the father, Look, turned the house into like a bed and breakfast. So this house that hates strangers and hates other people besides the silver women now just has like tons and tons and tons of strangers just tramping through it. The house is starting to do like some spooky, scary things. I think this is told in a really interesting way that sometimes I have a hard time following, but it eventually ends up making sense. So it switches between Miranda, her twin brother Elliot, and the house as narrators. And there aren't very clear, distinct chapters, honestly. Things are kind of broken up by like a break in your narrator. I don't know. I think it's interesting so far. I'm curious to see where we're gonna go with it. So far we're not like at a supernatural point. We're more at like focusing on her eating disorder and some immigration issues that are going on in England and her relationship with Elliot and like what dealing with the loss of their mother is like. But I can tell 120 pages in that we're really starting to shift over to the focus of the house. So right now there's like this vision that Miranda is having that's like, it's a table set for 4, and it's her mother Jennifer, her mother Lily, her grandmother Jennifer, and her great-grandmother Anna. And they're all like sitting together, and Lily has padlocked Anna and Jennifer's mouths shut. So that's where I'm at right now. And it's kind of weird. And I'm not entirely sure if I like it or not. I'm not gonna lie. There have definitely been like a couple moments in here where like one moment stands out the most is like she comes back from her stay at the hospital for her eating disorder, and she comes out very, very thin. And she comes home and she's like, Dad, none of my clothes fit. I need clothes. And he takes her all throughout London shopping for hours and hours and hours. And after hours of endless shopping and endless him being like, no, I hate all of it, he's just like, no, the problem isn't the clothes. The problem is you. You're too thin. And I'm like, what an awful thing to say to your child after they get out of an eating disorder program. Like, I know it's not a conventional eating disorder, but like, what a terrible, awful thing to say. And then he ends up not buying her any clothes, and he's like, no, you're just gonna gain more weight and wear your old clothes. Like, wear your old clothes until they fit, and then we'll know things are good. And I'm like, what an awful thing to say to your child after they just get out of the hospital. So there have been a couple things like that where I'm just like, oh, these people are yucky and I don't like them. I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping to get through a good chunk of this today. I'm already like I already got 50 pages done today, and I've got like 100 more pages to go until it's done. So I'd say that's pretty good. And then after this, I want to start Catherine House. So hopefully I'll be able to give more updates as I go now. Okay, hello. So right now it is Thursday the 13th, and I have some updates to give. I finally finished White is for Witching by Helen Oyeyemi. So this is about a girl named Miranda Silver. She has an eating disorder called pica, where she eats things that are not considered food, and that are like fairly toxic for humans. Her big thing is that she eats a lot of chalk. That's like one of her comfort things. And you would think that would be enough. You would think that would be horrifying enough, but it's not in the slightest. This house, I could not tell you what actually happened in this, I don't think. Because I don't understand what happened with this house and like what this house's deal was. The thing is, like, this house is like against other people and other visitors. Like, it only wants the women of the Silver family, basically. And that's creepy enough. That's creepy enough. You've got this house where like rooms and appear that don't actually exist, and like hallways and like crowds of very scary ghosties or whatever the hell. I don't know. But they're there. They're all up in your grill. And Miranda does not get the memo. And she is all down in this. Well, eventually she ends up going away to college. She goes to, I believe, Cambridge. And she starts a sapphic relationship with this girl, Orr. She is a black woman who was adopted by a family in a small town in England. So her whole introduction to her is like, it's like a backstory on how she was like the token black friend, in her small town. And we kind of get to know her, and I think she's an interesting character. I didn't super understand her. Like, I understood her introduction, I understood her backstory, and I started to learn about her character, but I think her whole thing was that she really got lost in Miranda, when they started their relationship, and in a way, the house and Miranda are like feeding off Orr. Orr gets really sickly thin, and like she just becomes like skin and bone, basically, in like a really bad way. So I don't know. So I'm gonna give like a little bit of a spoiler warning, a tiny bit. The whole thing ends with like a declaration of love on Miranda's point, of like choosing to not succumb and like choosing recovery, but understanding that Or cannot spend the time to go through said process with her, so she does it alone and she lets Or go. I'm not entirely sure what happened. I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened in this. It was very spooky. And not in like the ooh spoopy ghosty way, but in the like I'm confused and lost and unsettled kind of way. So I think I'm gonna give this like a 3-star. I enjoyed it. Like I've just gone on this whole rant, this whole like 7-minute rant about this book. And I feel like it's come across that I didn't enjoy it, which I did. I did enjoy it. Like, I think that it's meant to be confusing and mysterious. And I think that it was an interesting way to incorporate like a whole haunted house scenario into this. I also I don't have the book for it right now because I left it at work like an idiot. Because I really wanted to read more of it tonight. But I didn't get to. I'm reading Catherine House right now. I'm like 50 pages in, and I'm really enjoying it so far. Our main character is kind of irritating, but also kind of a mood. Like, she's just zoned out. She's not even there. She is emotionally unavailable in every capacity and is detached from school in its entirety. So Catherine House, from what I understand right now, is about this school that very few people get accepted to, and there's no tuition, there's no nothing, like you just get in and you go, and everyone who comes out of Catherine House is like super duper duper successful. But the catch is that you spend 3 years completely isolated, no contact with the outside world, no real technology, no nothing. You're just in this school. That's kind of where we're at. I feel like nefarious things are on the horizon, but right now we're still in the moment of like, well, this is kind of just a school. Psych, no, it's not going to be. Also, I was very upset. The main character's roommate. Tell me why. Tell me why. I'm kind of more interested in the main character's roommate than the main character. So the main character's roommate is Baby, and I'm a little obsessed. She's super nerdy. She's having a whole mental breakdown. She is not okay. She is not okay. But she brought a snail into the dorm. She stuck a snail into the dorms when there are absolutely no pets allowed. And the main character goes... See, I don't even know the main character's name right now. She goes to a party one night, and Baby's like, please don't go. I've heard that there's going to be room inspections tonight. And I'm nervous, like, about the snail. And the roommate's like, no, you're fine, I'm going. So she comes back from her party, and Baby is just fucking dying. And she just opens up her hands, and there's like cracked snail shell. And she's just like, they did a room inspection. And tell me why I almost cried. I love snails. I love snails so much. And I'm like, why was there snail murder? I didn't sign up for snail murder right now. So yeah, that's where we're at. So yeah, I will keep everyone updated on where I'm at. Hi. So it's Saturday right now, and you can see my Aflac duck right there. And I'm doing a car update on Catherine House. So right now I'm 135 pages into Catherine House. We are just about to start the section that is chapter 2. So I'm enjoying it right now. We're following our main character, Inez, who got into Catherine House, and she got in trouble with the law to an extent before she got there. So she's really going through it. Like, this event that got her in trouble, or could potentially get her in trouble, is one that has really messed with her life. So she's at Catherine House. She's really not feeling it. She's not doing well at school. She's not going to her classes. She's not really working hard. She's just kind of like in this big depressive episode. And it's like a big I don't care moment. We're also following her roommate, Baby, who feels like she's nothing, like she's not important, like just not valuable, but she's working so hard because she really wants to get into the specific concentration that Catherine House is really known for, which is I think it's called like materials, so it has to do with like plasma, and they're kind of using plasma as a method to repair things and people and whatever. So she's really interested in that. So she's working so hard while Inez is going out and partying and having tons of sex and getting drunk all the time and is on academic probation, and she's almost getting kicked out of the school, but she has nowhere to go besides school. So I wouldn't say chaos is ensuing in any capacity. I would more just say like the first 130, like the first 100 pages are major like depression moments. And then Inez gets sent to this thing called the Tower, which is like a rehab kind of center. They call it a rehabilitation center. But basically, what it is 4 months after the new class, which involves Inez and Baby, come to the school. They go through like this initiation program kind of thing where one night they all sit in a circle and they have these little nodes or whatever placed on them that work with plasma. So basically, like the school is experimenting on them with plasma to like fix them. But Inez, during this, one of her nodes or probes or whatever fell off, so she didn't really feel the effects of what the plasma did to them. But now she's been brought to the tower, and their whole thing with the tower is we're gonna put more nodes and more probes on you and like fix you with plasma, like repair you. So after the tower, Inez feels like she's kind of doing better. She feels like her past isn't at the forefront of her mind anymore. It's like farther back where she's not really thinking about it all the time. Um, but I wouldn't say that it like straight repaired her. While Baby is having a whole mental breakdown because she's not doing well in her classes. Or, well, she's doing well, but she doesn't feel like she's doing well. And she doesn't feel like she's living up to the standards necessary to get into the concentration that she wants to get into to work with the plasma. So she ends up getting sent to the tower after some events occurred, and now something has happened. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. Spoilers. Spoiler alert. This one, I feel like this one's probably definitely a spoiler. Baby dies while she's in the tower, and they're kind of, the school is insinuating that it was, she did it to herself, and that's kind of where we are. I like it so far. Like, I feel like I'm flying through it. I really like the writing style. I really like our point of view from, Inez, but I'm still just sitting here and I'm like, what is this really about? Because right now this is really about Inez and like her having a really hard time. But we're getting like the hints of stuff that this is more about the school and like weird experiments that they're doing on their students. I'm hoping to finish it today. So I'm gonna head back and read some more. I've got like 200 more pages to go. Okay, I'm gonna try and do this update outside because it's really nice outside, and I've been sitting in my hammock reading for the past like hour. So I got to page 200 of Catherine House, and I still don't understand what is supposed to be like creepy about this, I guess. Sorry that this is shaky. This is just being filmed on my iPhone, but like I don't understand what's supposed to be creepy about this house, really. I guess it's supposed to be the idea of plasma, but honestly, like, it's just becoming like a group of friends. So right now it's Inez, Anna, Yaya, Nick, and Theo. And there's one more. There's one more, and I forget his name. Um, but so it's like 5 or 6 of them, and it's kind of just their life and their schooling. Um, and like that overall process. Um, so they've just brought up the concept that Theo is trying to work on for his like final project. They all do like a final project at the end of their 3rd year, and they start prepping for it in their 2nd year. And it's kind of like a thesis, from what I understand. They call it a tutorial. But he's planning this thing that's like the way that we understand plasma as a whole is inaccurate, and the way that we experiment with it is not to its full potential. So they gave us an example of what he's doing, and I'm not going to say it because like I don't want to spoil that, because I think it's pretty interesting, and like that's very unsettling. Like what he's suggesting that they do with it is very unsettling. Okay, hi, hello. So the universe decided that I was not going to film the rest of that clip outside. Let me finish up right now. Now that they've presented this idea that Theo has, they're gonna try and break into like one of the professor's labs to see if the other professors have like the same idea, or if they're doing like scandalous and unethical practices, and I think that's where we're going next. But I'm curious to see how unethical all of their practices turn out to be, I guess. So as of right now, I have like a little over 100 pages to go. This book is 310 pages, so I have 110 pages to go. And if I don't finish this today, I think that I will finish it tomorrow at least. But I'm going to try and finish it tonight. So we're going to see how that goes. I'm going to keep reading until my partner gets home with dinner, and then we'll see what goes on from there. Okay, hello. So it is Sunday, and I need to wrap all this up, but this morning I ended up finishing Catherine House by Elisabeth Thomas, and I actually really enjoyed this, which kind of came to a surprise to me. I didn't think I was going to love this, but I'm gonna give it like a solid 4 stars. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a 4-star. I enjoyed the atmosphere, honestly, and I enjoyed the questioning throughout the story. Like, you're kind of sitting there and you're like, what is this really about? Like, is this about just this group of friends? Is this about like a weird school? And honestly, it's kind of about both and kind of about neither. There is severe betrayal. There are creepy things going on. There's like kind of like very clear manipulation of young students. There is a very creepy headmistress. Like she is bad news bears. She's weird. It's just like a massive like weird gothic psychological weirdness. So I don't want to give too much away now that I finished the last 100 pages. I think the last 100 pages are like the more interesting. Like you get into the nitty gritty of like what's actually going on in the school, what do dynamics look like. That's where the betrayal really comes into play. All of that. And honestly, the friendships in this, they were a lot more sincere and beautiful than I thought that they were going to be. They're definitely not like conventional friendships. But I really adored Yaya as a character, and I didn't think that I was going to. I totally thought she was going to be like a psychopath mean girl, and that was totally not the case. And Inez, God, do I feel bad for Inez. She's definitely going to have like really severe trauma, and her depression is already like off the charts, and it's just going to be worse. But oh boy, did she have a will to live. So yeah, Catherine House, about a group of friends going to a very exclusive school where you have no contact with the outside world or anything in it for 3 years. You work your butt off, you do your things, and they've got a very well-known materials concentration that is actually them manipulating the essence of the world and everything within it. And it goes from there. Obviously, nothing can ever go well when you're messing with the essence of the universe at a school with children. You know, that whole Jurassic Park quote that everyone says, where it's just like, scientists were so focused on whether they could that they didn't ever think of whether they should. Yes. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. So let's do a quick wrap up. Out of my TBR, my spooky TBR, we are on day like 15 or 16 of the month, so we're halfway through. And I have read Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Khaw. Didn't like it. 2 stars. I read White is for Witching by Helen Oyeyemi. Really liked it. I think I gave it like a 3 to a 3.5. And then I finished Catherine House by Elisabeth Thomas. 4 stars. Really loved that one. So 3 down, 6 to go. So I really gotta pick up the pace. We're gonna pull it together though. So I'm gonna say this is part 1 of my spooky season vlog. I'm hoping that there will only need to be like part 2, maybe part 3 to get all of this done. I hope everyone's having an awesome spooky season and is getting through their TBR at a better pace than I am. And I hope that everyone's really enjoying any readathons that they're doing. I'm not planning on doing any except for the one that Olivia Reads a Latte does, like the weekend before Halloween or the weekend of Halloween. Tell me what you're reading, tell me what you're loving, give me recommendations. Just say hi, anything. And I will see everyone next time. Bye.